Hello, welcome to Unequal Sequel.
Extra.
I was trying to do something really creepy, but I didn't really, just a wrong kind of creep.
My wife changed the doorbell noise to like a Halloween noise.
Oh,
like
it's that time of year, you can do that. Yeah.
And my son hated it. And he was really scared of it, and we had to take it off.
Oh, so it didn't last long.
He was like, "What is that?"
It's Halloween. Well, it is kind of nearly Halloween, I guess. And good news, Rich, is this. I think this is the final horror film you have to watch this year.
Oh, phew. Phew.
It's been a tough few weeks.
Although I should really go and watch The Nun 2 that I still haven't watched.
That can't be on the cinema still. Oh, yeah, I've seen that as well. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unequal Sequel. We are the podcast that talks about sequels. This is our Friday extra episodes when we review sequels. Normally, it seems to be now because they're out every single week. It seems to be every single bloody film that comes out as a sequel.
Good podcast for the bad creativity.
So last week we reviewed Saw 10, Saw X, Kiss, whatever it is. And this week we've moved on to another classic. Can I say franchised? Would you say? I mean,
there's been, yeah, I guess there's more than one sequel, isn't there? There've been a few.
There's two sequels and kind of two prequels from the same film. Have you heard about that? Anyway, we get to that, I think.
No.
And now we got to this. So we are reviewing the Exorcist : Believer.
I'd just like to say, I'm not a believer.
No?
Not in this movie, nor in any of the religious bollocks.
Okay. Good to know. Me too. And obviously, The Exorcist is a very famous film. It
yes.
Is a linchpin of scariness, I would say, in a well-made horror, thriller, scary, ghosty film. And it's very old now, 1973. I mean, I should have done my research, but I did watch it the other day, and I still think it absolutely bangs. I think it's the atmosphere it creates. I think it's scary. I think the effects hold up very well. It's very famous, for certain things, the effects and the lighting and the sounds and the whatnot. And I love it. I only probably watched The Exorcist for the first time like 5 years ago. It's taken me a long time to get around to it because I was pretty scared because I'm a bit of a, scary. But I own it now, and I watched it the other day, and I love it. I really enjoy it. It takes a while getting going, but I like that slow, creepy build-up.
Yeah,
what about you?
It does have a slow build-up. So I've only seen The Exorcist. I've not seen any sequels or prequels or anything.
I've never seen the 2 and 3. I think one's called Heretic, and I can't remember what the third one's called. I can't remember.
No idea. I've only seen the first one. My impression is all the sequels and prequels and stuff are relatively bad, but I don't know. Well,
there's one prequel, and the studio were so unhappy with it, they sacked the director in the middle of it, and they gave it to someone else. But that other director also completed it, so there's two versions of the same Exorcist prequel.
Okay.
I've only watched one of them. I haven't watched both of them, but understandingly, they're both disappointing.
Gotcha.
So, okay.
So I watched The Exorcist at uni, actually, our first year of university. I don't know if it was for an assignment or just because we thought, we should probably watch this. And then I just remember, do you remember our Irish friend, Jer?
Yeah.
Him just, because we watched it with him, and him just walking around going, "Your mother sucks cocks in hell." A lot.
He did love to swear, yeah. He was a great swearer.
He was, yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting. Don't remember being particularly scared by it, but do sort of appreciating it for what it was, kind of thing.
What about the word shocked? Were you shocked by any of it?
Not massively. It was in my I kind of knew all the things that were going to happen.
Yeah.
You've heard about it from a film studies point of view through that lens. So kind of trying to take in the the making of the movie rather than the actual story of the movie, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
And you're right, the effects are really... I remember the effects sort of being really good and kind of going, oh, this stands up for an old movie, but also finding it relatively dull.
Oh, you should watch it again.
Yeah.
Especially after watching this.
I think at 22, however old I was then, and knowing loads about it already, then, I think I kind of...
Do you think that's a problem when watching these old films, that they're so like in our subconscious through TV,
maybe.
magazines and songs?
Yeah, because if you've seen enough Simpsons episodes, you've probably seen most of these old movies, because they do like to bring out the pop culture.
Yeah,
but I think with The Exorcist also, I don't know. I think that I don't like all the religious stuff. I think that kind of turned me off a bit as well. I don't really like a lot of like religious-y things and stuff, so maybe that was a thing. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not all these people who's like, look at that beautiful church. I'm like, oh, look at that money scammed out of poor people.
Oh, God.
So I'm just going to upset everyone listening today.
Brilliant. We upset America last week. We'll go for religions this week.
Yeah, that's America again.
Oh, God. It's a weird thing to try and make a franchise out of it. I don't feel like The Exorcist is a film that ever needed a sequel.
No, it's a very standalone movie, really, isn't it?
It's not something you go like, I can't wait to watch the next one of them or whatever. It's just a great piece of cinema that's just standalone cinema. And I know they've been trying to make a modern day sequel or whatever quite a lot recently. And what's her name? The woman, Ellen Burstyn? The old lady from...
Is it Burstyn?
Yeah.
Ellen Burstyn. The mother, Chris McNeil. Yeah,
Chris McNeil. They tried to get her many times to be in a sequel, and she's always said no. And then she's finally said yes to this. The Exorcist Believer, directed by David Gordon Green, who recently made the Halloween trilogy, the reboot of the Halloween trilogy, which Halloween's great, and then it gets slowly worse, depending who you talk to. Us.
Yeah. Us. Yeah.
And now we've landed here. They've given him money to make a new trilogy. So you can see my air quotes, because we'll see if we'll get there.
What else has he done other than those Halloweens?
Lots of comedy.
I was going to say, I thought he
Danny
did
McBride's right-hand man.
He did a bit of Mythic Quest, didn't he?
Yes.
I think, yeah. Which we both like.
Both like that. Eastbound and Down, I believe, stuff like that. Maybe Vice Principals. He made a rubbish film called Your Highness with James Franco and Danny McBride and Natalie Portman a few years ago.
Oh, right.
It was awful. But he's now stepped into this. They've been giving him the reins to another horror franchise. And lots of people are like, stop giving him horror franchises.
Yeah.
So this one's called Believer. The next one they're planning to make, I think it's meant to be called Deceiver. I'm not quite sure if they'll get to the third one.
There's going to be another one.
Yes.
Right.
Well, Universal and Blumhouse spent a lot of money to get the rights to The Exorcist to make a new trilogy.
Yeah.
And now they've made this Exorcist Believer, or as I kept calling it, Exorcist : Believer. And Rich, what is the storyline of this?
Oh, shit. I forgot I had to do this. Okay. I only watched this last night, very late last night, in fact, and we're recording first thing in the morning. So, excuse me if I am hazy, but essentially 2 young girls go missing and turn up 3 days later thinking that they've been missing for a few hours. Surprised, they are possessed by demons. And
Demon.
It's kind of... Is it one demon? I thought it was more than one demon.
I thought it was one.
Well, because they get one out and then there's still some in there, isn't there?
What?
Like...
Anyway, should we say spoilers?
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, demons / nasty things, and yeah, it's pretty much so far so exorcisty, except there isn't really an exorcist in this one.
No.
Like it's more like a group of religious-y people who try their best and don't do very well.
that is it. Rich, do you think we should give a spoiler warning? Is there anything at the end that you want to touch upon? There is something I would like to touch upon in the ending.
Probably. I would like to talk about my overriding feelings when we get to the end.
Yes, okay, let's do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched The Exorcist Believer, don't say Believer again, Believer, if you just don't care, there's a lot of people that just won't watch this film and they just want to hear people's thoughts, our thoughts, weirdly. Yeah. Either turn us off, go watch the film, or just carry on and enjoy the ride. Let it wash over you. And then you can decide if it's worth your time or not at the end. This is a film I've weirdly been looking forward to because the trailers are actually quite scary.
The trailers look really good.
Right.
And it turns out that it suffers from that. All the good bits of the movie are in the trailer.
Yeah. Like all of them. All the scary...
All the scary bits.
Creepy bits.
All in the trailer. Did you jump, Dave? Did it get you?
I jumped at a snake bit.
Me too. I jumped at the snake bit and not again.
Nothing else, because everything else had been in the trailer. I thought the two kids were very creepy. I thought they were good.
Yeah, I thought that the two girls probably like the standout performance by far. I think especially is it Lydia Jewett who played Angela? I think she was very, very good, very strong. But both the girls did a really good job.
They must have gone through. They must have had someone on set, just to make them laugh between takes. Or are you okay? Because some serious shit goes down in that film, and the way that they they slowly get taken over by the demonic whatever is great. I think it's okay. It's everything around that nutshell. It just doesn't work. The way they try and it doesn't feel like an Exorcist film at any point. They try and make, like, the beginning, they've put it in Haiti, and the original, they've got that links to Iraq or whatever. And then you've got I think there's a bit when there's a silhouette in the window and I rolled my eyes. And then that's literally it. There's no, it doesn't build. There's the
tapping of the tree on the window, like the first one as well, wasn't there? I was like, oh, there we go. But
it doesn't at any point feel or look like an Exorcist film. There's no this dread, this building of dread. It does feel like a film that's been made in the 21st century, kind of like 2023. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know either. I was waiting for the music.
Yeah.
The dun, dun, dun,
that hits at the end of the credits.
It does the credits, but I was waiting for it in the... I don't know. I was waiting, and I was also sort of waiting for an arrival of an actual exorcist,
like another priest.
Yeah, or something. Like someone who actually knew what the fuck they were doing.
I have a lot of problems. The faceless, nameless people that they barely touched upon anyone apart from
pull out of nowhere.
It's
Dr.
bizarre.
Dr. Beehive. I'm sure her name was Dr. Beehive.
Was that the next door neighbour?
That wasn't the next door neighbour. That was the like Native American-y witch doctor-y person. A root work healer. A root work healer. Yeah. It's not Dr. Beehive, which is what I thought is Beehive.
Beehive.
I was like, is her name Dr. Beehive? I had to look it up.
Because, like Rich says, at the end of this film, that you're kind of waiting for an exorcist and the big finale, and they kind of lean towards that, but they try and say something about religion, about getting all these different practices of religion in, and at no point do they really explain who's who and their religious beliefs. So it's just a bunch of 5 people standing in a circle looking at each other. It's like that Guardians of the Galaxy quote from Rock. He's like, oh, we're all standing up and we're all...
Yeah. It really was, actually. And also they kind of, I don't know, they just get in each other's way a lot as well, don't they, right? And also all start to panic very quickly. Despite having been very calm when a lot of things were happening, they all kind of go a bit... I don't know. Like basically, one of them gets... We've said it's going to be spoilers, but one of them gets murdered right in front of their eyes, and they all remain relatively calm. But then, like, one other little thing happens, and they all freak the fuck out. Like, I'm just like...
There's no rhyme or reason for anything that really happens in this film. The use of the legacy character from The Exorcist, the Chris McNeil character, what they do to that character is bizarre, right? It's
horrible and pointless. Like,
they get her in, you think, oh, good, she's here.
Yeah.
The woman that was not in the room for the exorcism. They kind of do touch upon that in the original. You're like, well, I wasn't in the room, but I was definitely there for the other bits. And you're like, okay, so she's going to be, and then they bring her in, and then spoiler, one of the child stabs her in the eyes with a
crucifix. Yeah,
and then she's pretty much gone for the rest of the film, and they just once in a while cut to her masked up in a bed, just. Like
pretending that she could feel,
pretending she could feel whatever was happening, not in a church, not in in this room. And it was like, well, that she didn't have to be in this film at all. We could have just deleted her. It was great to see her for a minute, but if they actually did something with that character that was any of use to the storyline, or I would have been better. I was like, okay, scrap her. That's no point of that. And then did I find it interesting? I kind of, once the things that the children are possessed, you think, okay, that's a little bit interesting. They've been gone for 3 days. You've got one-sided story from one of the parents, so much more than the other side of the parents. So, is it Leslie Odom, his character? Again, I probably absolutely ruined his name.
Victor, I think his name was.
Yeah. And you get this backstory about his wife dying in the Haiti earthquake, and obviously, there's a choice to be made, the baby, blah, blah, blah. You find out so much more about their backgrounds compared to the other child who gets possessed from the Christian school that you barely really care about, or, you are rooting for the other girl compared to the other girl.
Yeah.
If you've seen the trailer, you find out that they have to make a choice, and you don't know if the devil, the demon, is either lying or telling the truth kind of thing.
And that's in the trailer, so that's not a surprise.
Not a surprise.
But that's the big, reveal almost. That's the big thing at the end.
It is, isn't it? Oh, you've got to pick one.
We know. We've seen the trailer.
If you want to see a good version of this film, just watch the trailer.
Yeah, absolutely. The trailer is 10 times better than the movie.
First time I watched this trailer, I thought, oh my God, this is going to be really, really scary. It's not scary. I sat through it fine. I was, like there's a bit when a snake jumps out in the water or something like that, and that's the bit that it seems both got me and Rich jumped out of my seat.
To that bit, yeah.
The revelations about them being possessed and why the bit kind of gone, or the bit like you've got to pick one and all the other quotes. Not a surprise because it's all been out there in the tabloids or whatever. And then the bit that really sat uncomfortably with me, I think you're rubbing off on me a little bit, as in I did not enjoy, again, spoiler, the shots of the 13-year-old girl being dragged to hell.
No. Me neither.
I didn't find it, I found it very unpleasant. And I was just like, oh, I didn't need to see that. I mean, one of the girls dying, that would have been bad enough. But then just to know that this innocent, unnamed, unknown girl who hasn't been fleshed out at all is going to spend eternity,
She doesn't even get a surname, I don't think. Like, we know her name's Catherine, but she gets no backstory whatsoever, really.
The whole family.
So
is weird.
She's not the one that's going to survive from the two girls because she's not the one that got the backstory. Her dad's a dick all the way through it. And basically you're like, he's going to fuck it up. She's going to be the one that dies. But I don't understand why. Yeah, you're right. It's like we said about Saw X, where the people that don't deserve the bad stuff get the bad stuff. Like, she doesn't deserve it. Like, that's not her idea to go off in the woods and do a seance. It was the other girl wanted to talk to her dead mum. Like, I don't know. Like,
it just sat really uneasy for me.
Yeah,
that bit. And I was trying to explain it to Tiff, and I was like, apparently that's my limit. I found out today that these like when she wakes up in the underground bunker wherever the kids are doing the sounds in the first place, and and then the hands start coming up, and You get the cut shots of the horrible face. And
it felt almost a little bit like they were trying to cash in on Stranger Things and make it like an upside down kind of thing as well. Like, because she wakes up in a different dimension version of the same place. But yeah, it just wasn't very nice.
I don't know if that's untasteful, movie. If that's just a personal opinion. I'd be interested to hear.
No, I think it's pretty distasteful. I think
other people's voice. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't think we need movies that end like that. When you said you had an issue with the ending, I thought you were going to have an issue with the cameo of the ending. Ending.
It's a bit bizarre, isn't it? We're moving on. Reagan from Linda Blair's character from The Exorcist turns up to hold her mum's hand right at the end. 3
seconds, and then it's very much a
didn't need it,
and she's like top cast on the IMDb profile for the movie. Yeah, so it's not a surprise she's in it. Like, so IMDb spoils that.
I just think, like, creative decisions in this film, each one is wrong in every way. The things they were trying to say with the whole, I think they forgot that like, trying to entertain would be a good start of a movie. And I don't understand what they were really trying to go for with all the different parts of religion in a circle who haven't been fair enough if they've all had their moment of trying to describe who and what they are. But it does look like there's 5 people in a circle who are all at lost and not helping. The only one that gets any time is the next door neighbour.
And Anne. Her name's Anne, I think, right?
Anne, and she's okay. Character.
Yeah.
She really rams home a lot of the heavy lifting of what's going on, to be honest. She brings a lot of the plot's devices in from books she's given to people, from things she's telling to people, the things she's seen. It's just, it's a very, I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's bad. Well, it's not good in any way.
It's very meh, I think.
I like how we've changed fine from meh or meh.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not fine. It's not good enough to be fine. It's meh. It's, you know, it's not even fine.
If you're trying to start a new trilogy, like his David Gordon Green's version of Halloween, the Legacy reboot, is actually really good. They do some really good things in that.
Yeah.
They try and set up a trilogy, and it is a really good starting off point. This, I don't even see where they're going to go for a sequel from this. You know, someone else is going to get possessed, and there's going to be another half-assed exorcism. You know, this doesn't even. You could call this anything you want, but not The Exorcist. You could just call this like
Possessed.
There's Possessed or something like that. Or a few years ago, there's The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is quite good. Anything along those lines, and it would have been okay. But it's because you're trying to compare it to the original, which is a masterpiece. Like, it is renowned.
But also, it doesn't really
brilliant.
have the feeling of interest of the original, because there is that thing. There is that bit in the original where they're like, is this girl mentally ill, or is she possessed?
Oh, it's horrible.
You know, there is that kind of challenge between those two things of like, you know, she can't possibly be possessed. That's not real. You know, it must be a mental illness. And this one, they barely like even go near that. Like, you know, they're put into a hospital for a minute. And like, one girl is put into a hospital for a minute, and that's kind of it. There's not a lot of hand-wringing from parents of going like, it can't be possessed, right?
Yeah.
Like, this can't be real. There's just a very much an acceptance of, oh yeah, he's possessed.
They mention it slightly, and then the woman gives the guy the book from Chris McNeil,
like,
and then
oh my god,
we're all into the exorcism at that point, and that she's possessed. I feel like this is like a bubblegum version of an exorcism, like that film. The Exorcist feels like is a proper film.
Yeah,
that makes it. There's tones, the sights, the sounds, the way it feels and looks. It feels very grown up.
Depth.
Yeah,
whereas this doesn't have any depth. It's very surface level. It doesn't really have a lot to say other than that. Wasn't The Exorcist a great movie?
Go watch that again.
Absolutely. So I still don't know if it was one demon or two demons or 54 demons that possessed them, because there is a bit with Dr. Beehive where she gets some like smelly gas to come out of them, and it like swirls around in the top, and then she kind of burns it with the fire. And I thought, that's that they're possessed by more than one demon.
Maybe
that must be one demon that's gone. But
the devil's playing a trick on them, kind of thing. Because this is not the same. What was the demon in the first one? I can't remember.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Anyway, it's not connected to that.
Right.
So
okay,
it's not Papalooza. Anyway, someone can.
But then, how does it know? Like,
is there a big devil?
The demon hive mind, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like the Borg. They're all connected.
I don't know. I kind of liked the bit when the revelation, when you find out that the bit in Haiti and the earthquake, and the Victor has a choice between saving the wife and the baby. Yeah. And it turns out he said the wife, but
they saved the baby.
The baby, and I kind of liked that bit. I was like, okay, that's interesting, because the demon's throwing that back in his face, kind of thing, and trying to question it. But then it kind of disappears quite quickly. Yeah,
it really does. Yeah,
and you're kind of waiting for this exorcism at the end, and it's again, you've seen in the trailer, you've seen the bits in there. So it's not as good as it should be.
If there's a second one, do you think it's going to be about trying to drag Catherine back from hell?
No. They cannot do that.
They might.
She's buried. I mean, they might try and save her soul.
Yeah, maybe.
But they don't know that she's been dragged to hell, pretty much, do they? They didn't see that. That was just for us. Lucky us.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. We get that, and we know there's going to be a sequel.
Yeah, well, there might be. But if it's called Deceiver, that makes me think that the demon hasn't really left Angela.
Hasn't really left Angela, and she's still possessed. She does still look a bit creepy.
Well, you would be if you've gone through that, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I know. And she's maybe it's just me, because she's actually a very good actress, and she's still.
I think it's funny that this has come out and it's been quite badly slated. I think people are quite looking forward to it, and now on Rotten Tomato, which isn't a great way of looking at films, but here we are. This is what we do now. Have you got any interest to hear what they have?
Go on then.
Rating wise, critics. Now, every review I've read, I haven't listened to some of them yet. I'm saving that for today, actually. Critics is 22%.
Wow.
220 reviews. Not a strong start of when Universal and whatever have spent a lot of money on this, hoping that it's going to reap.
I think it was only 30 million, right?
Well, because it's a Blumhouse film.
Yeah. So it's a $30 million budget.
But they bought the whole franchise for $400 million, apparently, or something like that.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Okay. Well, it's made 85 from the looks.
It's got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Audience score 59%, and all of them saying it's just not a patch. It's not a patch on.
It's nowhere near.
On the original, it's. I don't know what they could do in a sequel to make it better, or do you lean into that Exorcist, like the Exorcist feel? I think that's what they should have done. They should have really lent into it, and I feel like they've kind of
either
lent
lean
away
into
from
it, or
and the homages they tried were just pathetic.
Yeah, either lean into it or leave it alone completely. Like, don't half-ass it. Which this is what this felt like. It was, it felt like 2 hours of going. The Exorcist was good, wasn't it? Hey, wasn't it good? Hey. But I mean, I found this. I did find it really boring. Actually, this film really quite dull. Like I was checking my watch after like an hour of going. Come on,
it's an hour and 51 minutes.
Yeah, which felt like a lot longer, if I'm honest.
Which bit was it? The beginning? You said an hour in.
Yeah, but I would say if it's an hour and 50 minutes, I'd say the first hour and 20 are pretty slow. And then the last half an hour is, what you'd expect. But then saying that it's slow, it doesn't, I'm not saying it's like a slow, suspenseful build up, because it isn't. It's just slightly boring,
Yeah, I did wonder how you were going to go into it, because I know the ending and the child bit being horrible, and obviously we're well famous for being scaredy cats kind of thing. And this year we've watched a few horror films now. We've watched Evil Dead Rise. I really liked. You'll never want to watch it again.
I never want to watch it again, but it was a good film. You know, it was well made, definitely. It was
got
much better than this.
Saw X.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I've watched The Nun 2, so you haven't seen that. You know what? I would put this very much in that campy kind of Conjuring kind of universe, that kind of horror. I wouldn't put it into a scarier category.
No. So Evil Dead Rise is still the best horror movie I think we've watched this year.
Absolutely. My screening, though, of The Exorcist Believer, was packed, by the way, on a Saturday
was
night.
it?
Yeah, I think it's all the people that couldn't get into the Taylor Swift film. But it was really packed.
I watched it on a Monday at like 9 o'clock at night. So it was like just two women sat near me who just talked all the way through it.
Oh, I had a woman near me on her phone, and I just blocked her out. I went to my place. So why do people come and just have to check and text people in cinemas? I don't get it.
I don't know, mate.
We've sat through this now. What do you? What's your feelings? What is the big unequal sequel question? What do you rate it out of 7? And is it an unequal sequel? I mean, it's going to be hard to answer the second question.
Well, I guess in terms of unequal sequel, if I'm comparing it to The Exorcist, that it's incredibly unequal, but I haven't seen any of the Exorcist sequels that this is a sequel to. I don't know. I'd err on the side of caution and say it's an unequal sequel because I'm just basing it off of the original.
Yes, very unequal sequel. To be fair,
absolutely.
It's based off the original. And what would you give it out of 7?
I sort of want to give it similar to Saw X, I think. Although actually I think Saw X is better because it got a more visceral reaction from me. And the score that I gave Saw X was because it gave me that reaction. So I would probably give this a 1 star as well. But then I'd have to go back and re-review Saw X and give it a 2 stars instead because it gave me a visceral reaction, and that's why I hated it so much. I don't hate this. I just think it's meh. Like, I don't come away from it going, oh God, I never want to watch that again.
Yeah.
You know, I've come away from it going, and in hindsight, thinking about Saw X, coming away from that and going, oh God, I never want to watch that again is probably the right thing, you know? Whereas this, I'm just like, I don't want to watch this again because it's fucking boring. Like, you know?
I definitely had a better time in the cinema watching Saw X 10.
I wouldn't say better.
I did. At least
it was more of a thing.
At least with Saw, at the end of when it comes to the last part of that Saw film, I leant forwards and I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. You know, it's having a crack at being fun. This, I was just not blown away or any kind. Yeah, like you said, meh is a good word. Would I want to watch a sequel to it? No, not
really.
I'm not like going, I can't wait until 2026, whatever, when the next one will be out, and I can't wait to see what they do with so-and-so, because I can't see what they're going to do with so-and-so. I just, you know, they're not going to do anything with those legacy characters, are they? They're not going to demonize Linda Blair's Regan. You know, the old woman's missing eyes now.
I don't know.
It seems kind of pointless at the moment. I feel like they could have just left The Exorcist alone. Even, I know we haven't seen the crappy sequels. Yes, I'm going to say, what shall I say? I think it's an unequal sequel if we're comparing it to The Exorcist, obviously. 1.5, 2, probably from me. I think there's some ideas. I just think everything about it is not well put together and they haven't really thought about it. And
if you haven't seen the trailer, it might be better.
Yes. If you're one of those people that hasn't watched the trailer, and there are those people that don't watch trailers.
Don't. If you haven't seen the trailer, don't watch the trailer before you watch this movie.
Would you go see it on the big screen? I mean, always encourage people to go to the cinema, go see Taylor Swift. But would you say this is a big screen experience that needs to be...
I'd say it's probably 100% better on a big screen than a small screen.
Really?
Yeah, because the small screen is going to be even more meh. I
suppose at least you've got the sound in the big cinema. Yeah. You're right. Anyway, that's kind of a recommendation from Rich then.
No, it's not. Don't blame me for this. What I will recommend, though, is that people go back and listen to all our other episodes where we review movies we like a lot more than this one. That's fully a recommendation. So yeah, if you're a new listener to Unequal Sequel, this is the first one you've listened to. We promise we do talk positively about movies occasionally. It's not just us complaining. So yeah, go back and have a listen. While you're there, hit the subscribe button, hit that auto download button. It'll drop into your pod player of choice every single week. Also, if you really, really like us, we have a subscription service. It's $2.99 a month, and it's over on anotherslice.com/unequal sequel, where you can get loads of extra stuff from us, including sequels to all our interview episodes. If you want to get in touch with us, we're on all the social medias, including that weird one that Twitter used to be. We're on Threads, we're on Instagram, we're on Blue Sky, we're on TikTok. We are at Unequal Sequel on all of those. We're also on Letterboxd if you want to see some of our reviews. If you don't do social media, and that is fair enough, I don't blame you at all, get on the emails and send us a message. We are unequalsequel@hotmail.com. Yes, that's hotmail.com, because we are off of the 90s. Any messages we get, we will read out in our end of month roundup. We have some lovely ones recently. If you want to leave us a review, get yourself onto iTunes, onto Apple Podcasts, tap us out a little review. We'll really appreciate it. 5 stars would be amazing. And yeah, we've only a couple of weeks to go until the Independent Podcast Awards. Woohoo!
Very exciting.
So very exciting to sit at the back of that and lose to the cinema in our category.
Can't wait for that one.
So yeah.
Next week is our end of month roundup. We've made it through October. We've made it through these horror films, plus Expendables 4, which can also be included as a horror film if you
I would say it's a horror film, but it's horrible.
Yeah. So please get in your thoughts of anything we've watched this month, which includes The Expendables 4, Saw 10, The Exorcist Believer, if you're another Slice person, Ice Slicer, Twilight thoughts, and thoughts on Punisher Warzone, which will be out on the 25th, that episode, so before the roundup. So any of those, get them in and we will read them out and we'll have a good time and we'll see you then. Rich, you got anything else to say?
No.
Okay, it is I've got nothing to say either, believe it or not. I think it's such a weird films like this because Expendables brought such reaction and so did Saw X. And then we get to this film and it's just like,
meh.
Hopefully November brings some better films. I know the Marvels is out, so hopefully that's fun, at least. Anyway, it's a goodbye from me, bye-bye, and a goodbye from him.
Bye!
Yeah, it is a goodbye from him. And see you on next week's, the sequels to this week's. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
We've made it through spooky season, Dave.
We did. I don't think there's any more spooky films now. I know we got Trolls and the Marvels. So, very different
I'm quite
films.
looking forward to Trolls. Is that weird?
No.